Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
In 2015, when I was 23, I had used Craigslist to find a roommate to share my apartment with. Back then, I think it was pretty normal to be using Craigslist for finding roommates and whatnot. There weren't really any other sites to do so on, and it wasn't exploited as much as it is today. I posted a listing with some pictures of my place and made sure to specify that I was looking for a roommate preferably close to my age.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? How back in the day, Craigslist wasn't, you know, such a red flag for things, but today it definitely is. And I would never, ever try to get a roommate on Craigslist. Like, hell no. Do you have any creepy Craigslist stories? Let me know in the comments below.
After only a few days, I got a response from a woman named Hannah. She said she was also 23 and still in college. And from everything we talked about on the phone, she seemed pretty similar to me, and like we might actually make good roommates. So I scheduled to have her stop by and tour the place. When she did, everything seemed great. Hannah liked the place, and we agreed on a price. And within a week, she had moved in with me. I will say, I did notice that she didn't quite look her age. She was a bit taller than me and just had a more mature, older look to her. I figured it was nothing, though, that she just happened to look a bit older than her age. Anyway, the first few days went by, and we didn't really have much time to get comfortable with each other yet, as I had work and she had college and work as well. It was the fifth day after she'd moved in that I got home from work and entered the apartment around 10 p.m. As soon as I opened the door, I heard footsteps rushing through the hallway and then a door slamming closed. Confused, I dropped my bag down and went over to look down the hallway that led to both of our bedrooms. Their door was closed and the light was on in their room, but my door was open. I knew I'd closed it before leaving, so I thought that was pretty weird. I definitely wasn't comfortable with them snooping around my room, if that's what they were doing. I went in and closed the door behind me. After checking around, nothing looked out of place or like it'd been looked through, so I figured it was nothing and just went on with my night. I settled in and watched TV for a bit in my room. I didn't hear Hannah in her room at all for a whole hour, so I thought she was probably just sleeping. She'd mentioned before that she liked to go to bed early. However, while watching TV, I happened to glance at my bedroom door, just out of habit, but I noticed something weird. There was a shadow under the crack in the doorway. She was standing behind my door. She wasn't moving. How long had she been standing there for? Hannah? They still didn't move.
What would you do in this type of situation? Because to me, that would be really unsettling to have someone that you don't even know just standing behind your door and you can see the freaking shadow. Like, wouldn't that be crazy unsettling? And yeah, I just think that would be really unsettling, honestly, because it's like you don't know this person and you don't really know what they're capable of. But yeah, really creepy already so far.
I called out again. Hannah, are you out there? Several quiet seconds passed until the shadow slowly moved, leaving from behind the door and walking down the hallway. I heard her bedroom door slam shut behind her. That got my heart pumping for a moment. What was she doing? I locked my door after that and stayed up just a bit later than usual, but eventually went to bed. In the morning, I passed by Hannah in the kitchen and kindly brought up last night, just asking if she needed something. She smiled and said everything was good, ending the conversation right there. It was odd for sure, but I just moved on, not wanting to make things bad between us so soon into her moving in. Hannah left soon after, and a few hours later, I went to work. I got home around the same time as last night, about 10:30, walking into a quiet and dark apartment. All the lights were off, even in her room, so I assumed she had already gone to bed. I quietly walked into my bedroom and closed the door, trying not to wake her. After a short FaceTime with one of my friends, I got in the shower to wind down for the night, planning to go to bed right after. While I was in there, I could have sworn I heard something from outside my room. I even lowered the water pressure for a second to listen, but not hearing anything else, I continued my shower as usual. Once I was done, I got out and dried off, but when I looked out the doorway into my room, the door to the hallway was open. I quickly got dressed and looked into the hallway. All the lights were still off, and Hannah wasn't making any noise in her room. I was honestly creeped out now. I closed the door and locked it. What's really odd is that I was almost sure that I'd unconsciously locked the door when I got home and went into my room. Obviously now, I assumed I'd just forgotten to, but definitely wasn't going to forget anymore. But why did she even open my door in the first place? Did she even open my door? The whole place was still dark and quiet, as if she never left her room and was just sleeping. What the hell was going on? I stayed up for another hour, trying to watch TV and calm down, but still pretty shaken by what was happening. I just didn't know Hannah enough to really understand any of this, or know what to do. I kept trying to convince myself it was something harmless, like she tried to come in to ask me something, but saw I was in the shower and just left. But that still doesn't explain any of the other things that have happened. After that hour, I knew I had to get some sleep, so I shut everything off, crawled into my bed, and closed my eyes. It felt as though as soon as I closed my eyes, I opened them back up, knowing that I'd fallen asleep, but only for a short amount of time. Unsure why I'd woken up, I rolled over and looked around. The room was pitch black, and the apartment was quiet. Not even any noise from the neighbors, just the silent creaking of the old building. But through the dark, I could tell that the door to my room was cracked open, maybe just a few inches, but that didn't change how instantly terrifying it was. I knew without a doubt I'd locked it this time, and even creepier, I never heard it open. Hannah? I called out in a soft voice.
Now, this would be really spooky because I feel like at this point there's something seriously off with Hannah. And for the door to be open like that after it being locked, like, does this person know how to pick locks or something? Like, how did they get the door open? And what is going on? Like, this whole thing is just so creepy, isn't it? What would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments below.
The silence of the place almost felt like it was getting louder, making me more nervous as the seconds passed. I sat up. I was just staring at the crack in the door, focused on the darkness between it, feeling like someone was watching me through it. But as my eyes adjusted to the dark, I looked around the room again. In the corner, I could see her figure standing near my wardrobe. She didn't move or speak, just faced me and stood in the dark. As each second passed, I felt my heart beating faster and faster until she suddenly took a step forward. I still couldn't really see her well, but I could make out the general outline of her face, and she had this blank, dead stare, like she was looking through me. She took another step, then suddenly ran across the room and into the hallway. A second later, I heard her bedroom door slam shut. After a moment, I grabbed my phone and car keys, then sprinted to the front door and exited the building. I know she technically did nothing to me, but I was absolutely horrified. I didn't even want to stay in the parking lot, worried she'd run out looking for me. I drove to a nearby neighborhood and parked, then called the police, hoping to figure out what was going on with the safety of officers around. It took about 15 minutes for the police to make it to the apartment. By then, Hannah was gone, took most of her belongings and just vanished. It was then, as we tried to contact her and figure out who she was, that we realized all the information I had on her was fabricated. Even her name didn't match up, and her phone number was for a prepaid burner phone. It had no name or identity attached to it. Like I said, this was in 2015, so even a decade later, I've never heard from or seen her again, which makes me think she likely had some really disturbing intentions had I stayed roommates with her any longer. There's a lot of questions, and basically no answers. After that, I moved apartments, worried that the woman might come back when I least expect it.
Yeah, what a creepy story, huh? And yeah, it's just kind of crazy how the whole thing unfolded. Like, she just up and vanished like that without a trace, really. And the whole thing was fabricated. Like, this whole thing is right out of a horror film. And the fact that she was standing in the dark by her wardrobe in her room, like, oh my god. Like, imagine waking up in the middle of the night and seeing a new roommate that you don't even know just creeping around in the dark in your room. Like, that is one of the most chilling things that I can think of, is it not? Because, yeah, it's just chilling. But I really enjoyed this story, and I hope you enjoyed the commentary and my music, and I will see you in the next video.